Welcome to the August edition of Savvy Sounds. Today we have Steph Newman here from the Catawba Riverkeeper and also Confluence. So she's going to be here to talk about Fork Fest, which I believe is the first one that I'm aware of.
Yeah. First floating concert and mini music festival in downtown Cramerton.
That's awesome. And we're definitely going to touch on the floating concept. I'm very interested in this. But first, for those who don't know, what is Confluence? We know that it's in Cramerton. Many people might think it's just a venue. What's its tie to the Riverkeeper?
Yeah, so the Catawba Riverkeeper kind of owns and operates Confluence, which is a community center space where arts and music and recreation all come together alongside the river, which is the exact reason for its name. Confluence is where two rivers kind of come together and meet. So this is kind of our almost love letter to the community of where, it's a community center where the community can come together to meet with that focus on arts and music and recreation. So I think it's a great combination of all of those things, and that's what we do basically through programming and kayak rentals and bike rentals. We have cornhole and disc golf and ping pong, and we have art workshops and live music concerts. We have an artist in residence studio as well. So really just trying to bring the community out to celebrate all of those things. And the way that it ties back into the Riverkeeper, because a lot of people are like, okay, but why is the Riverkeeper doing this? All of the proceeds from Confluence go directly back into funding the South Fork River kind of health project, South Fork Collective, which is a group that is come together to solely focus on the health of the South Fork River. There's a lot of damage that's been done to it over the last 100 or so years.
Absolutely.
And as the largest tributary of the Catawba River, it's definitely a main focus for Catawba Riverkeeper in their mission to protect and preserve and restore.
Yeah.
This is another old tune. It's called The Long Arm of the Law. Blue moon of Kentucky, she was shining. We spent the whole night whining and dining, but I couldn't say what made me shy away. We got drunker than we ever had before, down by that muddy river shore, but she didn't know that night I had to go. And I love to hang around and linger, but lawman has a trigger on his finger and it's aimed at me. My bounty man rolled into town that day. I heard he planned on taking me away. See, time caught up with the past. I should've run a little more fast. I should've written her a farewell note, confessed before the noose found my throat, but I couldn't bear the shame, that dirt on my name. And I love to hang around and linger, but the lawman has a trigger on his finger and it's aimed at me. Long arm of the law got me that night. My baby by my side, I went down without a fight. It hurt so bad to see her cry, I hate that I had to lie. So now I say adieu, adios, goodbye. In a cell I'll lie, or in a chair I'll fry, and pay for my dubious deed. Take heed, don't follow my lead, 'cause I love to hang around and linger, but lawman has a trigger on his finger and it's aimed at me.
Graham is here because he's playing Fork Fest in Cramerton, McAdenville area. I know you're from Gaston County. So where exactly in the county did you grow up?
Belmont.
Belmont. Did you go to South Point?
I did go to South Point. Yeah,
Gotcha.
Graduated 2011 by the grace of God. Made it through, got that diploma.
So how exactly did you get into playing music? You've been doing this a long time, so I'm just curious, like, did it start with a mentor? Did you take music lessons?
Kind of. I grew up with a piano in the house that I was piddling around on since I was like a little kid. I was in like a church choir. I got a guitar when I was 12 and took lessons, but I was not good. At that point in time, I didn't like to practice. I was very lazy. But then when I was like 15, I got into like country music and really started playing a lot and learning a lot. I remember I was into punk too, and I'd learned Where Did You Sleep Last Night? Because Nirvana did it, And I played it for my grandparents, and they were like, "Oh yeah, your great uncle like so and so used to do that, like a million years ago, like whatever his name was." And it's like a folk song. This guy Leadbelly did it, and then I was like, "This is so interesting."
Yeah.
That someone in my family used to play this same tune, and I dove into folk music from there.
You mentioned folk and country. Like, who's influenced you as a player and a singer?
Too many to count. I research incessantly. Bob Dylan's big for me. Hank Williams is huge. But then, obviously like Doc Watson from North Carolina,
Yep.
big influence.
Oh, yeah.
Lots of punk rock influences from like the 70s and stuff. I could go on and on.
Yeah.
I could talk all day about who influenced me and stuff, but it's also a lot of art and like, not just visual art, but like poetry and different sorts of music. Like it all comes together to funnel into these like weird country songs.
Yeah, experimental, I think is one word I saw. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're in Hiram. So who do you play with? Like, who are these other guys? I think there's like 2 or 3 of them. Is that right?
3 other guys right now. Yeah. One's my cousin Jacob Clausen. He plays rhythm guitar. Red Brandenburg is our bass player. He actually taught me pretty much everything I know about playing country music. And he writes a good portion of the songs, probably about half and half. And he's an amazing bass player. Devin's our drummer, and he's just a great drummer. He loves Rush, which is funny because I don't like Rush. He's got like this huge set.
But he's a drummer, so
Yeah,
he's gotta like Rush.
yeah, he
I
likes
think that's
to
kind of
nerd
comes
out
with the
about it,
gig.
yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So how do you characterize Hiram? Because I was online, I was doing a little bit of research. I saw experimental country.
Yeah.
I saw that you're Rhinestone Rednecks. I think I also saw yeehaw music.
Yeah.
So what does that sound like? I think you kind of already touched on some of your influence, but
Yeah.
to those who haven't seen Hiram yet.
I would just say it's the easiest way to put it would be it's original country music. We're not out here like doing standard covers and stuff. Like we do some standards. If they're standards, they're usually like old bluegrass tunes or folk songs and things like that. Just sure, experimental country, art country, alt country, whatever, outlaw country. Any of that stuff, we can fall under any of those umbrellas easily.
Yeah. I heard some of the lyrics, and I believe you referenced the Muddy River at one point, the South Fork, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah.
And I don't think I've ever heard someone reference Rat Fink. And I don't think country has covered Rat Fink before.
No,
so
not yet.
I think
that
that
would be the first.
yeah, that was very original. So.
Definitely, we've dipped our toes in before with Jam at the Dam at the Boathouse in McAdenville, and that's kind of like a summer concert series that was happening a few times over the summer over at the Boathouse, and with doing live music at Confluence weekly, so we host a different musician every Friday night. We have open mic nights on Wednesdays, but this was kind of the way that we really leaned in to step up our game, and again I go back to John. He's our executive director, but he kind of is that big ideas guy, and he just always had this idea of a floating concert. And so this is like our way of making that happen. I've heard of different floating concerts in other areas before, but the ones that I've always seen are, the band is on a dock, and then everybody else is in their boat surrounding that dock. And this is legitimately, the band will be on floating rafts and traveling from McAdenville to Cramerton, and everybody will be able to paddle with them. So you will actually have floating music along the South Fork River.
That is so cool. And like, I paddle myself. I'm just curious to know, what does that look like? Because I don't think I've ever seen a pontoon boat on the South Fork. But is it like a unique floating device? Like, what is it?
It is a creation of our engagement manager, Greg Nance. He's kind of our expert kayaker, expert paddler. And so he's, worked with some of his friends to come up with a system that will work. It's essentially a grouping of, I think, inflatable rafts. So it's definitely not a pontoon, way smaller than that. But this series of rafts that will like be kind of connected loosely. If one goes down, hopefully the rest of them won't go down with him. But they'll also have like paddlers with them. So they won't have to paddle themselves. They're solely focused on playing their instruments, but they will be attached to somebody that is kind of expertly guiding them down the river. So
yeah, and this section of the South Fork, from what I understand, is much calmer than the upper section. So it's good that they have some help there, but it's not like they're going to be floating down some rapids.
No. This is definitely like a perfect area. So it's kind of like just below the McAdenville Dam and all the way into Centennial Center in downtown Cramerton, which is a pretty calm area, good for like entry level paddlers. So yeah, I'm not a class 5 rapid paddler girl myself. Shocking, I know. But yeah, I think this is a great way to get people out on the water.
Load up the dice and stack up the cards. I'm feeling lucky tonight. Feeding all the slots with every dollar I got. I ain't clutching my wallet too tight. I'm gonna go to the casino. I'm gonna blow all my dough. I'm gonna go to the casino. I'm gonna blow all of my dough. Got Lady Luck right by my side and a smile about a mile wide. I ain't messing around. Gonna win my money back in a nice big old fat stack. Then I'm North Carolina bound. I'm gonna go to the casino. I'm gonna blow all my dough. I'm gonna go to the casino. I'm gonna blow all of my dough. I'm gonna blow all of my dough.
So you performed a few songs for us. Walk us through the ones that you performed. Go ahead and name them and tell us kind of the meaning of each.
Yeah, well, the first one that I played, I don't know if that'll be the first one you guys had it in or whatever, is Switchblade Knife. That one I wrote when I was way young. I was a teenager, I think. And it was just about being a tough guy, pretty much, you know? Yeah. Nothing more to it than that.
As you are when you're a teenager.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I didn't have a switchblade back then. I do now. But yeah, it was a little rougher when I was a kid, I reckon. Let's see, the other tunes. The newest one that I did was, I guess we'll just call it the Casino song. And I just wrote that one recently because I've been trying to take myself less seriously. which is really fun, you know, because I feel like I fall into the trap of being too like thoughtful about my lyrics and stuff, so I just wanted to write something really stupid. That was like, I'm going to the casino and I'm gonna waste a lot of money.
And I think that comes like as a country artist. I think one thing that they all have in common is that they have the emotional songs, but then they also have the ones where they let loose, like you said.
Yeah, it's like just, you know, make something that people can relate to.
Yeah.
You know, really. The Long Arm of the Law. That's a story that I wrote a long time ago. It's supposed to be like a 3-part type deal. I only wrote the one. So once again, I'm lazy. But that's just like a ballad. Basically, this guy goes out with a lady and then gets picked up by the cops, and he didn't let her know, like, hey, I might be going away for a while, you know, and he's kind of messed up about that. And then the last thing that I did was with the little digital Regini, and that's just like, I don't have a name for that yet. I plan on recording it and releasing something much longer. I don't know how long I played it just then, but I want to make that more of a recording project where I'd do that with the guitar and a harmonica and like some drums for like a cool like 10 minutes. People can put on like a yoga playlist or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bought this a sitar like 2 or 3 years ago, and I took it to a workshop in Charlotte. I think it's LA Guitar Studios or something. The guy's name is Ari Latella, but he was really good at what he did. He tuned it up for me, the sitar, tuned it up and fixed it up, and he gave me this box, and he was like, since you don't have other people to play with, it's an accompaniment. So usually the sitar is played with like 3 other people, or 2 other people. Drum, and then they have someone on another stringed instrument that just drones. So with that thing, I could potentially play the sitar along with it.
Hiram is going to be our band on the water. They have this great, you know, kind of experimental attitude. So I think, you know, they're definitely perfect to be out there. And then that part is ticketed. We have a certain amount of boats that are going to be available for rent, and then we have a lower costed ticket for folks that want to bring their own boats and launch and that sort of thing. And so that will be the bulk of Friday night. We have that split up into 2 tickets though. So we've got the on the water portion, and then as the band kind of reaches Centennial, we're gonna, you know, let them get off the water, take a break, steady their legs, and then they will actually be heading inside into Confluence for a second part of their show. So if you're not an on the water person, you can still catch the band inside, and that'll be we're anticipating about 8 o'clock to 10 p.m. that night. And then we'll be picking it back up the next day on Saturday, August 5th. We'll kick it off inside Confluence with a kids concert with Trace Casanova, who's a local guy that kind of performs around a lot. So he has a great kind of kids show that he puts on.
Perfect.
Lets all the kids get the wiggles out and everything. And then kind of as that's winding down, we'll have Alonzo Wesley out in the outdoor pavilion in downtown in the park. So that's kind of, again, a free portion. Most of the daytime activities are going to be like where our free activities are happening. So yeah, after Alonzo Wesley goes on, we're going to have Will Easter. He's actually out of Boone, but, you know, very big into kind of nature and that sort of thing. And then as he's wrapping up, after that, we will have the Crystal Fountains Band. And so they've actually performed at Merle Fest this past year.
Yeah.
So they're awesome. We've actually had them at Confluence on a Friday night,
Cool.
right after coming off of Merle Fest, and they were fantastic. So I think it'll be a really good daytime concert series. We'll also have a couple of things going on in Confluence during the day, more kids activities, helping them make their own maracas so they can be a part of the band, and we'll have kazoo lessons and a kazoo parade, which I think will just
I could
be
see
adorable.
that getting out of hand.
Well, again, it's just for the fun of it, right?
Yeah.
We're not expecting anybody to go on to win a Grammy.
That's right.
On kazoo.
But it sounds like you've got a nice little balance of one, there seems like there's something for everyone in the family, but then two, it's a very manageable experience. So it's not like you're having to commit to 48 hours worth of music. You can take it in manageable amounts, which is nice.
I think it's very family friendly. Also definitely plenty of opportunities for folks to go inside and cool off in some air conditioning, because we all know that the first weekend in August is still blazing hot. But yeah, and then once kind of we wind down the outdoor activities, we'll have again picking it back up inside with another ticketed show, and that's going to be the Darren Nicholson Band. So they're like kind of a Americana outfit that
cool.
is also kind of local to more western North Carolina, but
yeah,
little bit of local people, a little bit of people that folks that people might not see in this area as frequently. So I think we've got a great mix. I think it's a unique experience that will be, something that people will remember for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
Like, hey, remember that one time we went out and there was a band on the water? So
there's a lot of different ways that you can engage the people of Gaston County. But why has the Catawba Riverkeeper and Confluence decided that that this is what they want to do and to bring to Cramerton?
Again, I think our big thing is getting out into the community and bringing people together. And one of the things that, we always talk about is getting people out on the water makes people understand the beauty of the area, which inherently is going to make you care more about the water, and where your drinking water is coming from and all of that, and being able to kind of see what's going on. So I think, our long-term goal is always to get people out on the water, but also near the water, so that you can just enjoy the beauty of our river for what it is, but then sometimes too you're going to see the challenges that come up, right? And obviously the South Fork is very easy to see because it's the muddy river, and so I think really just highlighting that. And music just brings everyone together. So that's kind of, why a music festival, it's really kind of the perfect thing to really celebrate our river, but then also be able to kind of get out there and talk to people and highlight the challenges that our river, faces, because they are, pretty unique challenges that the South Fork River has. But again, I think, just that love letter of celebrating the area that we live in, the river that we live on, and the community that's built around it. So
this tune is called Switchblade Knife. Well, I got a switchblade knife. I don't really care about life. I ain't afraid to lose it in a fight. Well, I've been busted and bruised, I've been messed up, I've been confused, said a bunch of stuff that you might not like, but you'll put up with me in my rough company. If you don't like it, one of us ain't gonna end up alright. I got a switchblade knife. I don't really care about life, so I ain't afraid to lose it in a fight. Step on my toes, you learn something that most folks know. Got a lot less bark than I do bite. I might up and run if you pull out some guns, but a kindly face like mine from being so incredibly kind. I've been drugged through the dirt, and boys, it was a sight. Now you might kick my butt, but buddy, I tell you what, there'll be more days and there'll be more nights. 'Cause I got a switchblade knife, I don't really care about life, so I ain't afraid to lose it in a fight.
You're playing Fork Fest. I know you've played all across the county before. I'm just curious to know how you were approached about playing on a stage that's floating down the river.
I mean, that was pretty much the statement. Would you like to play on a stage floating down the river for a show? And I said, yes, absolutely. I would love to do that.
Yeah, as an experimental country artist, you're like, I would like to do that.
I would love to do anything you can throw at me. And it's for a good cause, and it sounds like a good time.
And I'm sure you've not performed in a place like that before.
No, definitely not. Basically, I can't remember if it's 3 or 4 rafting boats that we have that are tied together, where we'll have a bass player, Red, the bass player over here, Devin on drums on the right, and then there's a boat here. Jacob will be over here, and I'm right here. And we'll each have a microphone, except Devin, he doesn't sing. And then we have like basically a little tiny metal boat in the center, and they're all tied together, and we're going to put all of our equipment, like our mixer, our PA, and our amplifiers in that boat in the center and connect everything through that way. And there's one more boat with a tiny trolling motor on it that's going to direct us down the way.
Yeah. Is there a generator in all of this?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
2 generators. Yeah.
What does it mean to play a festival like this? I think it's very unique. It's in your home, Gaston County. What are some of the, I guess, I don't want to, say emotion, but I'm just like, it just seems like a really unique opportunity, and it'd be a special occasion for the band.
Yeah, I don't know. Once again, it's a good cause. Like, the River Keeper people do good work. Don't poison the well. And if the well is even somewhat poisoned, clean it up. You know? And we like to promote clean water.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Graham. I really appreciate you coming on.
you.
And yeah, we look forward to seeing you at Fork Fest.
We'll be there. Happy to be here, too.